Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. My dear friends, you were asking me about again the Chinese New Year. You know that Chinese New Year in here in Singapore is very interesting. You know, because the coincidence of the years, we see the Chinese New Year migrating, you know, in interesting spots. You know, it's a second year in a row where the Chinese New Year is placing to us Catholics, or to those Catholics who are of Chinese descent, a moral question. And we saw last year that, you know, the Church can give permission, you know, on some Fridays. It can give permission on some circumstances, because the Church understands that the Chinese New Year, you know, it's an important moment of the year for the Chinese and everything. But now this year, the Chinese New Year is migrating in the worst spot possible. You know, the two worst spots for the Chinese New Year to land are, you know, Good Friday and Ash Wednesday. That's it's a big problem. And there is no way I myself can give any dispensations on these 2 days, which are first-class days and very important days in the Catholic Church. I remember somebody who I know very well, you know, had a party on Good Friday, and the priest was angry for a full year. It was, the name of that priest was Father Shulo. He was our priest in Toulon when I was a little kid. He was a missionary. You know, he was never a member of the society. But it is unthinkable to give such a dispensation to normal Catholics who have no disease, no need to eat, or, you know, nothing special whatsoever. It's unthinkable to give dispensations on those days. The embarrassment is also that, you know, you go in the morning and you take the ashes, you put the ashes on your forehead, and then the very day you are going to do the exact contrary. It's better to ask in that case, you know, in those two exceptional days, you just ask the permission from the moon. You know, if the moon, you know, you ask the moon, you know, moon that shines in the sky, can you please come a bit earlier? You know, show your new moon a little bit earlier. You ask like Joshua, and then she shows her new moon a little bit earlier, and then she might do it. It's more likely that she would do it than for you to be allowed to break the obligation of Ash Wednesday. And just like the Catholic Church is granting dispensations very often, we've seen that very often, the Catholic Church grants a dispensation. Sometimes the Chinese calendar can be dispensed, exceptionally, and that it has to happen maybe once or twice, once in a while, just to show that the calendar of the Catholic Church supersedes the calendar of the Chinese culture. You have to show it. You have to show it. Otherwise, you are more a member of the Chinese nation, a member of the Catholic Church, which it cannot be. Now, as much as we can, says St. Paul, we try to live in good terms with our fellow people, fellow countrymen, as much as we can. But if we can't, well, too bad. You know, it was never what we meant. We never meant to antagonize anybody or to break any worthy tradition, because, you know, I do keep all my respect to the Chinese pork, and to the Chinese cuisine, and to the Chinese New Year, and I do encourage you know, all those who value the Chinese New Year to continue to Chinese New Year every year. But they can Chinese on that year. They can Chinese New Year just 24 hours before, because it lands. There's a conjunction, and it lands on Mardi Gras, as they call it in America. So on Mardi Gras, you can have your Chinese New Year, and it fits perfectly, because you have one last fiesta, you know, for before starting to do penance for good. You are making reserves because you are going to be very generous during Lent. And then you finish all your leftovers of Chinese pork, so as to be ready for it. But what is very worrying is the fact that Father Stalin said, I don't have the answer of this, but the answer is from the local ordinary. In that case, we follow the local ordinary. But that's even more frightening than trampling Ash Wednesday itself. I think it's even more frightening because the Novus Ordo Disordinary has no lessons, no moral lessons whatsoever to teach to traditional Catholics, because it is a gay church. It's now becoming an officially gay church. Pope Francis told the few conservatives were somewhat, indirectly resisting him at the last synod. He told them, next October we pass the acceptance of gays in the Catholic Church. Whether you like it or not, it's going to pass. And he also had a consistory, so he's having more pro-gay cardinals. And of course, with the Mass, they already had 64%, which in my view it's more than 2/3, but not enough. More than 2/3, it seems, to make it more than 2/3. I don't care, but it's going to be easily more than 2/3 next time. But that's one reason. So Pope Francis is telling them, I am the Pope here, and he doesn't like to speak like that normally. Usually, he says, just call me Father Bergoglio. But on that day, he said, I am the Pope. I am the Holy Father here, and it is I who decide, and you have to follow my guidance. And then he tells them, next year we approve. And we welcome the gays in the Catholic Church. We welcome their having children. We welcome their capacity, the capacity that they have to make lots of beautiful sacrifice for each other. When one of the two doesn't like pink on that day, well, he's going to wear pink in order to please the other one. So they can make lots of big sacrifice for each other. That's what the document said of the synod. Now, what moral lessons do we have to receive from this gay church? Because qui potest maius, potest minus. Qui non potest maius, non potest minus. He who cannot teach us on the most obvious questions of morality, and on the issue of something which is so obvious as the sin of Sodom, has even has no grounds to tell us Catholics what to do on the issue of fasting and abstinence. And we are keeping the distance from this Novus Ordo Church. We have nothing to do with this new Rome. We are not, taking their guidance. Because once you start to take their guidance, once you place yourself under them, sure enough, they are going to take you away. You're going to be swept away. And that's another instance of the society being swept away under this false pretense, false respect, because they don't understand anymore what authority is, what authority has been established for. That the authority of the Catholic Church is not for the destruction of all those things sacred. And I don't even recall the Holy Father in the years past dispensing from Ash Wednesday and Good Friday for normal Catholics. I really don't recall. It's really beyond me. But everything, you see that in the Novus Ordo, everything has to bow down in front of the desires and the whims, what they call pastoral necessities of the faithful, the subjective feelings of people. Everything has to bend, including the most sacred days. And the moon is going to continue, and then the new moon is going to hit Good Friday, and then they will say the same. They are capable to tell that, on Good Friday, let's gorge ourselves with a delicious Chinese pork. It's no problem for them, because there are no limits. The spirit of the Novus Ordo, it is the conscience of the believer, which is the rule of morality. And that's why they cannot be. We cannot turn to them, to look for the rule of law. We cannot. It's immoral. It's immoral to seek a moral explanation from them, because their morality is upside down. Everything is completely upside down. Like the end of marriage in their new code of common law. Everything is totally upside down. So I hope this helps a little bit. And so please, on Ash Wednesday, do penance. Just get a dispensation from your Chinese ancient, and I'm very sure, the Chinese wise people are very accommodating, just like the Catholic Church can accommodate when it can. I'm very sure Chinese ancients or Chinese wise men, whoever put this Chinese New Year custom into place, I think he's a very wise man, and I think he can understand that there are priorities for us. Just like whenever we can, whenever the Catholic Church has always been accommodating. It has always been whenever possible, the Catholic Church has been accommodating. But there are moments, and St. Paul says so, and our Lord says so, there are moments where it is the world that has to bend, and not the other way around. And precisely those days are there to show who is boss, which calendar is actually the calendar that supersedes. Those special days are there especially to show that, and to show the value of the first commandment of God. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost.